guys? Hope this week so far. Once again, bringing you guys another Warhammer video. But looking at how Vulkan saved the entire galaxy. I thought it'd be a cool video to look at because I've become more of a Salamanders fan, and Vulkan is the Primarch of the Salamanders. And he's a wholesome guy. He's also a force to be reckoned with. So I know it's going to be a vibe, and Major Kill puts on a little spin on it. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Please make sure to check out the original video in the description. Show some love. If you guys enjoy my content, if you guys enjoy my reactions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get to it.
Well, a lot of people forget or just don't pay too much attention to the Primarchs of the Shattered Legions, and yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't either if I hadn't just finished reading every book in the Horus Heresy. God damn, that took a while. Now onto the Siege of Terra, baby. But because I have read it, you don't have to, so I can just explain to you how important Primarchs like Corvus and Vulkan were. Sorry, Ferris, but you did die a little bit early. Should have kept your head. Vulkan quite literally went through hell and back during the Heresy, going on one of the most brutally punishing missions set for him by the Emperor. A mission that saw him not only create the ultimate solution for the Imperium to ensure that Chaos could never truly win, but also to save his father's life, and by extension, the entirety of mankind, and by further extension, the entire galaxy.
Just more reasons why the Salamanders are the GOAT. They're the best. Up there, Space Wolves, though.
That sounds pretty bloody impactful to me. Before we get started, I have something special for you. I'm excited to announce this month's VIP models, in collaboration with the immensely talented 3D art guy, Clone Grim and the Golden Cavill. How Galaxy during the Horus Heresy, basically covering his lore from his true resurrection all the way to the end of the Heresy. Let's get into it. Vulkan had a massive shit one during the Heresy. He was nuked and then stabbed to death, only for it to be revealed that he was a perpetual, an invincible forever regenerating being. Horus handed him over to Conrad Curse, who spent months brutally killing Vulkan in every way imaginable. Like, every way. Yet Vulkan would always come back to life. Frustrated, Conrad then swapped to trying to mentally break Vulkan, forcing him to watch or even involuntarily take part in some fucked up shit. It was so horrific that the Emperor himself, who was extremely busy dealing with his own shit, intervened, giving Vulkan the strength to push on and eventually kick the shit out of Conrad and escape. But the nightmare had only just begun. Vulkan had gone insane and there was no clear way to restore his sanity. To make matters worse, a cabal of aliens had foreseen that Vulkan would save the Imperium, so they wanted to put him down. They gave one of their agents, John Grammaticus, the Fulgurite Spear, which was a shard of the Emperor's might that had the ability to kill perpetuals, and they told him to give it to Conrad. If Conrad used it on Vulkan, it would perma-kill the Lord of Drakes, as it would only work on a perpetual Primarch if wielded by another Primarch. However, the Elder Farseer Eldrad Ulthuan wanted mankind to win, so he came to John and said, "If you're sick of betraying your own race..."
And Eldar being nice to humanity? To the Imperium? That's crazy.
All the time, then ensure you are the one that
the Horus Heresy was a weird time.
So after a clusterfuck of Primarch fights, John stabs Vulkan, in the process losing his own perpetual powers. This act also seemingly killed Vulkan for good. So yeah, I'm just setting the scene, as Vulkan's death was pretty important to how he ended up saving the galaxy. Vulkan's sons take his body back to Nocturne through a massive effort, which included a lot of warp spaghetti and a shard of Magnus, but they fucking did it. Some did it so they could lay their Primarch to rest, others did it because they believed that if buried at Mount Deathfire, he would come back to life. Regardless, they did it, yet Vulkan stayed dead. That was until Numion, the de facto leader of the Salamanders and the most faithful of Vulkan's sons, sacrificed his life, this final act triggering Vulkan's true resurrection. Upon awakening, Eldrad came to him in the guise of an old man. He told Vulkan that he must travel the webway to reach Terra in order to become the Gatekeeper. The role of Gatekeeper will explain later on in this video. Then Vulkan was found by 3 of his sons. He declared that these sons would accompany him on his quest, naming them his Draksword, in honor of an ancient Nocturnian tradition. Before they set off, Vulkan also noticed he had forged a strange talisman. He felt power within it, as well as its pull, so determined it was some kind of compass. He also forged Urdrakul, his new Warhammer, which had the soul and power of all the weapons he'd ever created within it. It was very powerful. Finally, he also forged himself a new set of armor, because you can't go on a galaxy-saving quest.
So basically, bro dying made him stronger. How about that?
With a 20-inch big black cock flopping around everywhere. Together, Vulkan and his sons entered the webway gate on Nocturne, deep within the crust. They actually passed some of the mega beasts of Nocturne, monsters so large they seemed unfathomable. Imagine like the world serpent from God of War sort of vibe. However, this webway gate is the one the Dark Elder used to use to raid Nocturne, so it took them to the outskirts of Comorra. It wasn't convenient, but they didn't have a choice. They were assailed by an army of mandrakes, leading to Vulkan coming face to face with the Lord of the Mandrakes himself. Vulkan had some serious beef with this dude, As last time Vulkan came here with warriors from his Nocturnian tribe, the Mandrake Lord claimed many of their heads. Vulkan actually struggled here. The Mandrake Master too fast and deadly to be able to truly fight, until Vulkan was like, "It's hammer time," and ignited the fire of Erdrakul. The brightness blinded the Lord of the Mandrakes, and Vulkan smashed him with the hammer. Amazingly, it only mildly hurt the Lord of the Mandrakes, yet he did retreat, allowing Vulkan and his sons to progress. Man, I need to make a video about this Mandrake Lord. His name was Keldrak or something. It's a hard one. Bit of a beast.
I say this every video, dude. The designs in Warhammer go hard as shit. They always do.
They soon exited the webway and encountered an Iron Hand fleet led by Shadrach Medusan. Shadrach wanted Vulkan to join them in the war effort, which Vulkan also longed for, but his quest was too important, so he declined. However, their goals did align. There was a Sons of Horus blockade that Shadi wanted to destroy, and Vulkan needed to get past. So Shadrach gave his life to break through the blockade and allowed Vulkan's quest to continue. It was actually a pretty tragic end to Shadrach that I covered in my recent video about how the Iron Hands went from the best legion to the worst chapter. Give it a watch after this if you can be fucked. They soon land on an Eldar world called Caldera, which also had a webway gate. The Exodites on the world hated Vulkan's guts, probably because he incinerated an Eldar child during the Great Crusade, but Eldrad told them to give him a hand, so they guided him to another webway portal, this one not leading to Rapetopia. It put them next to the Impossible City, an ancient Eldar city that was used by the
I can't with the way he says shit, dude. I can't. It always catches me off guard.
Imperium during the Emperor's Webway project. It was close to the Imperial dungeon, but it also sucked, because a bunch of zombie trader marines began attacking them, which Vulkan and his Draxword slew. But then like 1,000 demons attacked, so Vulkan used the Shard of Fulgurite that was used to temporarily kill him to annihilate all of them as he released an explosion of the Emperor's divine power from it. But then as they approached the webway gate to the Imperial dungeon, they realized they were fucked. A massive army of demons was gathered around it, sieging it. The Emperor could feel Vulkan was close, so he actually sent out his remaining custodians as well as titans and other machines of war to reopen and hold the webway gate to give Vulkan time. But it just wasn't enough. The desperation and cost of the move shows how much the Emperor needed and wanted Vulkan to return to him. A big reason why the war in the webway was allowed to continue for so long was to try give Vulkan time to get back to Terra. The Emperor's gambit fails, Vulkan is stuck in the webway. Then suddenly, a big fuck-off Nurglite demon appears and attacks Vulkan, shanking him in the chest and then eating him. It's actually shocking how one-sided the fight was. Demons in breach sections of the webway are turbocharged due to their proximity to the warp, and it bodied Vulkan hard. As he was sliding into its stomach, which itself appeared to be a portal to Nurgle's garden, Vulkan was like, "Fuck this shit," and activated the fire within himself and his Warhammer. He became a burning avatar of the Emperor's righteousness. He exploded out of the demon in a ball of fire and tore out its tongue before bludgeoning the shit out of it and perma-killing it. Not banishing it, perma-killing it, making Vulkan one of the few beings in the galaxy with such an ability. However, he was still stuck in the webway, until Eldrad appeared for the final time. The Farseer unveiled his true form and then opened up a secret path to Vulkan, one that led directly to Terra. Vulkan and his sons took it. They appeared on the outskirts of the Imperial Palace amidst the battle against some cultists. The Imperial Fists arrived and took Vulkan with them. They were deeply suspicious of him as everyone thought he was dead, but upon Rogel seeing him, he knew it was his brother. Vulkan hugged his brother and was then taken to see the Emperor. The Emperor revealed that the mysterious talisman compass Vulkan forged was the Talisman of 7 Hammers, a failsafe that ensured that if the Emperor were to die, the Astronomicon and Golden Throne would be overloaded and a cleansing fire would spread all over Terra and annihilate everything, ensuring that Chaos would suffer a blow so devastating it would never recover. Vulkan was shocked at this revelation, but accepted it as a necessary failsafe. The Emperor revealed that by Vulkan dying and being reborn in Mount Deathfire, he had unlocked his true inner Primarch power, similar to Corvus becoming a Warp Shade or the Lion learning how to forest walk. Vulkan could now craft these impossible devices of infinite power, as well as calling forth the Emperor's flame, and his regeneration power had been turbocharged. Vulkan was now more or less unstoppable, as well as one of the most powerful of the Loyalist Primarchs. However, this isn't really how Vulkan saved the galaxy. It was cool and important, but his true destiny was still to come. Remember how I called Vulkan the Gatekeeper? Well, that is because he took up position as the guardian of the Eternity Gate, the final gate that led to the throne room. When Magnus came to Terra to try reclaim his lost noble shard and kill the Emperor, he came face to face with his father and tried to slay him. Vulkan blocked the strike and beat Magnus into submission. Magnus then ascended to become a demon prince, which saved himself from Vulkan's rage. Magnus would soon return as a turbocharged demon of Zinj. Magnus began performing a ritual in the webway that was draining the Emperor of power, which would weaken his his anti-chaos Aegis and make the Siege of Terra a living nightmare, or even more so than it was. Vulkan strode forth into the webway to confront Magnus. The two fought, and it seemed like Vulkan was outmatched. Magnus drained him of blood, cut off his head, crushed his organs, and did all kinds of fucked up killing moves. But this is Vulkan. He cannot die.
Still,
he's instantly regenerating as he beat Magnus with his hammer. Magnus panicked and unleashed his final mega attack, a spell he had been crafting specifically to kill perpetuals. After all, Magnus did manage to kill Malkador with a similar spell, requiring another perpetual to sacrifice herself to bring Malkador back. He hit Vulkan with his blast and undid the Lord of Drakes on the molecular level, but Vulkan didn't give a fuck. Dude smashes Magnus so hard in the head that his head explodes and he is banished, even as Vulkan is reduced to a skeleton, saving the Emperor from the ritual and giving the Loyalists a chance. Vulkan then drags himself back to Terra as his body regenerates and retakes his position as Gatekeeper. Vulkan would survive the heresy, having fulfilled his role. You could argue that he would go on to save the galaxy.
So is this regenerative ability kind of like Deadpool's or like Wolverine's? I'm just trying to like visualize how powerful it is. Like, does it just slowly just grow back, or is it like almost instantaneous? But the fact he could do that in the first place is just ridiculous.
Again in the War of the Beast, sacrificing himself to take out one of the Orc Mega War bosses. But I'd say beating the shit out of Magnus twice, a Primarch who's obscenely overpowered, is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah.
Vulkan isn't just like a nice cutesy Primarch that gives hugs. He's a nice cutesy Primarch that gives hugs and will brain the fucking shit out of you if you step out of line. If you enjoyed the video and you're
That was great, man. Yeah, I didn't know he had like all these different abilities. Like, I knew he was a force to be reckoned with. Like, I thought he was like a slugger, you know, a guy can just throw hands with anyone. I know he had this regenerative abilities and all these OP tools, and then he can perma kill like demons and shit. Like bro is crazy. Bro is crazy, man. I highly enjoy this video, man. I know there's probably more to Vulkan that there's probably more to him than what this video laid on. So if you guys have anything to add, please put it in the comments, because I mean, again, I'm a Salamanders fan. This is my Primarch. You know, I'd like to know a little bit more about him. But great video from HK, hit it out of the park again. This guy's absolutely amazing. I love his content. If you guys enjoy as much as I did, please check him out in the description. If you guys enjoy my content, if you guys enjoy my reactions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Take it easy.